Today, we're going to be talking about my commonplace book. And I'm excited to share with you my system that I use to capture my ideas, my notes, my thinking, even the notes I take from books, quotes, anything that comes across my eyes and things I want to take in and really think about and keep and store for later. That's what I throw in my commonplace book. So stick around and let's check out this awesome and wonderful system that I hope it encourages you to start your own. So first we have to answer the question, what is a commonplace book? Now, I don't want to try to reinvent the wheel here. There is plenty of videos out there that talks about commonplace books. I would encourage you to check out Park Notes. Basically his whole channel is on commonplace books and how he uses his system to capture his ideas and to help him create YouTube content to write and things like that. So I would encourage you to go over and check his channel out. So I'm not going to go into super depth here about what a commonplace book is, but essentially a commonplace book is a collection or a place that you store all of your ideas, information, quotes, anything that comes across your eyes, anything that you find interesting, you're going to try to capture and you're going to organize and put aside for whether it be something that you're going to write about or something you're going to use to study, whatever it is. I mean, it can be a number of things. So that is essentially what a commonplace book is. Now, there are different types of commonplace books. A lot of people use notebooks, which if you go to Park Notes, he uses a lot of notebooks. That's the system that he uses. Some people like digital notes, so they use like Obsidian. They'll use Notion. I know there's been a lot of different note-taking apps that have been coming out over the past couple of years. Even people use Apple Notes for this. There's a lot of great digital options that you can use, but there's no right or wrong option. I just want to say that up front because when I started getting into commonplace books, I just felt like there was this one system that like captured all of it. And that's not true for everybody. There are systems that work better for some people than others. And you have to find out which system works best for you because I can't tell you that. Somebody else can't tell you that. They can only speak from their experience and what they have found that works best for them. And so my commonplace book, I actually use the note card system, which was not invented by me. I got this from Ryan Holiday and Robert Greene. I think it was Robert Greene who taught Ryan Holiday the system, and then Ryan kind of put that out for everybody to use. And so I kind of use his system in a very similar way. And the note card system is the one that I use, and here's why. It works well for me because I am what can be considered a librarian when it comes to taking in information. Tiago Forte has a great article on the different types of note takers, and you kind of have to first determine, when you're trying to decide which, commonplace book, what kind of type should I use a notebook, should I use note cards, should I use digital, whatever it is. You probably should answer this question first. What type of note taker are you? Because determining that is going to really help discern where you're going to land as far as what method or what tools you're going to use to capture your thinking. And Tiago Forte, he breaks it down into 4 categories. One is the architect. So an architect is more like an engineer. They build their system. They build systems to help with their thinking, their knowledge work. Notion is great for this because you can pretty much engineer Notion to do anything that you want it to do. And so a lot of people like using Notion for that. If you are the second type of note taker is a gardener. A gardener is one that gathers information and then feeds off that information to formulate new ideas. Imagine a gardener. You're going through, you're weeding, you're taking care of your plants, you're taking care of your fruit crops, whatever it is, and you're growing something new. And so if you're a gardener, if you like taking in ideas and allowing those ideas to connect to one another, that creates new ideas. That is you. You're going to be one that's going to enjoy whether it be the Zettelkasten system using note cards, or you're going to be enjoying using things like Obsidian and Roam Research. Great digital products that allows you to take in information, but allows you to see how everything connects together. And then the third is the librarian, which a librarian essentially is someone who takes in, writes down information, and then puts it away into whether it be a box or something digital like Evernote, and basically stores it for a later date. You're not trying to piece things together like a gardener is. You're not trying to formulate new ideas. You just have the information available to to use at a later date. And then the fourth note taker is the student. The student is really just someone who's just getting started, not really quite sure how they're going to take notes, what type of personality they may have. But there's no right or wrong way of which one you are, and you might actually be a combination of a couple. I kind of consider myself more a librarian. I've tried to be a gardener. I really wanted Obsidian to work, but it just didn't work for me. And really, the note card system that I use, that I got from Ryan Holiday, really is probably better used for someone who's used as a gardener. But I really like it to use as a place I can store my thoughts, quotes, and ideas, and it's just easier for me to find the information that I'm looking for. So here is my commonplace book. Again, like I said, this is a note card system that is not original to me, but I have really found it very, very helpful. And as you can see, there's a lot of different 4x6 cards in here. I use 4x6 instead of 3x5 because you can obviously get a lot more information on a 4x6. I just found these boxes on Amazon. I'll put a link down below where you can find them for yourself. And then I categorize everything by topic. And now this is something that's important that I would encourage you to do. I've tried like the Dewey Decimal System with the Zettelkasten, and it just got really complicated for me. I found that if you work with less friction, you're going to get more done. So it's easier for me to just kind of, when I take a note, and we're talking about this more here in a second of how this works, but when I take a note down, I will write in the top right-hand corner the theme. So whether it be, I have a whole section here that talks about God. And so, I have another section in here that talks about productivity. So I'll put the theme of that up there. And then what I do is I'll title the card that I have because it helps me know what's inside that card. But this is going to help you categorize and understand what's in all these notes. And you might be thinking, man, Brett, this sounds a lot easier if it was digital, and you're right. And this is what Evernote is great for. But I am one of those people that I think I was born in the wrong century. I really like writing by hand. I really like using pen and paper. I even use typewriters. As you can see behind me, there's some typewriters behind me. I like typing on typewriters. There's just a lot of things that I like doing analog that really allows me to think slower. And I truly believe that thinking fast, it doesn't mean that it's better. Even typing fast doesn't necessarily mean that your quality is going to increase. I think there is a argument to be made that going slower actually is going to produce better work. And so that's why I use the note card system. It really benefits me. It really helps me gather my thoughts and my ideas. So before I kind of show you an example of what I do, I just want to quickly share with you how I read books. So when I take in information, when I'm reading a book, I have a pen and a highlighter next to me. And so what I'll do is I just finished Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And what I do is I go through this book, and as I'm reading, I am highlighting, I am underlining, I'm making notes in the margins. And then what I'll do is on the top corner, I'll strike a line. And that allows me to go back, find the pages that I've marked, and I've written notes down. And I actually got this from Ryan Holiday. I will take that book and I'll set it aside for about a week. I'll let it just sit and marinate, and then I'll come back to it and I'll grab my note cards and take notes from that. The reason I do that, and this is very important, the reason I do that is it really helps kind of self-edit what things really matter and what really resonate with you. Because I can tell you there's been books that I've highlighted and written so much in, and I only got like 3 or 4 note cards out of it. Like I thought at the time this book was amazing. And then after about a week, it's like, you know what? Some of these ideas just weren't that great or that useful. So that's what I do when I read. It helps me memorize, know what I read. And it helps me keep track of not just writing down everything, but really allows you to be specific and pick and choose which books that you want or which quotes that you want to take. So after I've read Think and Grow Rich, I go through, edit, write down my note cards. And here's just like a quick example of my 4x6 note card. I'll write down a quote, write down an idea, and then I'll put the title up top here. And then here at the very corner, I'll put the topic. And so again, that will go into my my box, my note card box. And so whether it be, I titled this opinion. So I'm going to put that in the O. It's a pretty simple system. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be difficult. It's just something that's easy for me to keep track of. And then if I have, if I'm researching or writing about knowledge, I can go into this book and go to the K and find everything I've written about knowledge. Now, one of the things that's limiting for this is that it's hard to cross-reference. So what you have to do is you have to be real intentional about if you think a card is going to relate to something else, or maybe in your research you found different things that relate, then you might want to put at the bottom what it relates to. That's helpful in your future research and things that you're doing for. And that leads me to a final point I want to say about commonplace books is do something with what you're taking notes on. Don't just write things down in a book and just set it aside and not do anything with it. You will burn out so fast, because what you find yourself doing is you like, man, why am I keeping all these notes? Why am I just writing in my books and marking them up for no reason? And that is a key to whether it be a note card system or whether it be to Obsidian, anything that you're using. It's so important to use the information that you're reading about, that you're taking in, that you're keeping track of, and be creative with it. And that can be, doing a YouTube channel, that can be writing, that can be teaching somebody else something. Use the information that you're taking in, because that will make that more meaningful. That will make that feel so much more purposeful as to why am I taking this in? Why am I doing this? And it makes the process of keeping a commonplace book so much more enjoyable, and you're going to probably keep doing it. It's not going to be something you're just going to do for a little bit and push off to the side. And the reason I say this is because I didn't do this for the longest time. I've tried this note card system time and time again. I'll start it, I'll stop, I'll start, and I stop. And the reason that I kept stopping was I wasn't doing anything with the information that I was writing down. I wasn't doing anything with the ideas that was coming across my mind. And so when you start creating, when you start using the information that you are learning, it becomes more purposeful, and you want to keep doing it because you see the value that's in it. And I always think this myself, that when you see value in something, you're going to put work and effort into it. When you don't see value in something, man, you're not going to stick to anything, right? And so I just want to say that as a closing remark when it comes to commonplace books. Use the information, have a purpose. Why are you keeping a commonplace book? Commonplace books were often kept by scientists and by people who were trying to formulate ideas and opinions about the world around them. It was a way to keep quotes and ideas so to further their work. And so be purposeful, have intention, be mindful of what you're taking in and what you're doing. And like I said before, don't think that how I do it is the only way to do it. Don't think that the way I do it is it, right? It may work for you, it may not. You may want to be more specific. You actually may want to do a Zettelkasten system. You may want to use digital apps such as Obsidian or Notion or Apple Notes. There's a lot of different ways to keep the ideas and the quotes that come across that you find interesting and write them down so that you can go back and reflect on them. So I hope this video was insightful. I hope this video was helpful. And I hope this video was encouraging to you to want to keep a commonplace book. And if you've enjoyed this content, subscribe down below, hit that like button, and look forward to sharing more ideas about how you can read more and more ideas of how you can take in information so you can become a better thinker, a better person, and grow both personally and spiritually. And I'm glad you guys got to watch this video. Hope you guys have a great and wonderful week, and I'll see you guys next time.